Gacha games are a dime a dozen, some might be successful, others quietly disappearing into the night, like Virgil evading Nero's child support. Brought to you by the same developers of Bang Dream and D4DJ, is a game whose release became an absolute meme when its end of service was announced at the exact same time as its release date. And this is Love Live School Idol Festival 2 Miracle Live. A rhythm game that ran for a year in Japan since April 2023, got shut down in Japan in March 2024, and was then shortly announced for global release right after it shut down, which gives you all of 4 months to grind the gacha game, only for Bushiroad to bid you farewell while making off like a bandit with all that microtransaction money. Because the cash shop is still open for business despite everything. Which sounds like a corporate cash grab to curious onlookers like myself, but for the amount of stuff they gave out before it shut down, you were pretty much set anyway without spending a single cent. Before we do jump into this game, let's catch you up quickly on the bumpy road of Love Live gacha game lore, beginning with the original School Idol Festival, which I will basically be calling SIF from here.
Hold up!
Basically be calling SIF. SIF.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
First released in 2013 and gone by 2023 after 10 good years of service. During that time period, Love Live School Idol Festival All Stars released in 2019 in Japan, followed by worldwide in 2020, and then gone by 2023 after 3 more years of service to the Love Live fans. Seeing a pattern yet, doesn't take a detective to realize that both of these games were taken down in order to make way for SIF2. But was it truly worth it? Let's find out. The story of this game begins with you as a student newspaper journalist who is tasked by their newspaper club to write articles on one of 4 idol groups of choice: Muse, Aquars, Nijigasaki High School Idol Club, and Liela, all 4 of which comprise of school idols, basically a bunch of high school girls who have set up clubs in their schools to become idols. Your idol group of choice is pretty important since it determines which character you can choose to get a free SSR copy of at the start of the game.
That's pretty good.
I am not gonna lie, I was here for the memes and only ever seen part of the first season, so the natural course of action was to choose Muse and then pick Nico for the memes, cause she allegedly breaks kneecaps. After being unable to call myself Kneecaps, I decided to instead call myself the next best thing. Perfect. Now that I've chosen the group, it's live 2D cutscenes, meeting up with the Muse members before a live concert, followed by them getting in contact with me over text message to send their greetings and have a group chat. And naturally, I gravitated towards the story mode, wanting to know more about the characters. Before the game's closure though, the entire story used to be locked behind in-game progression, but was fully opened up to everyone no matter what events you missed for this end of service. And there's really not much, actually. You catch up with the meetups with the other 3 school idol groups anyway, watch a bunch of semi-animated slice of life shorts of the girls doing cute things, and each group gets a side story of their own to follow. Muse ends up holding a Christmas party followed by a concert in the school field for the entire school for Christmas. But wait a second, that can't be it. Where's the rest of it? And on the other side of things, Aquars gathers together for some New Year celebrations, Liela meets up a few times to create promotional material to introduce people to their school, and Nijigasaki end up with multiple separate anime shorts instead of the live 2D cutscenes with more slice of life. The live 2D is actually not too bad, but that's unfortunately pretty much all you are going to get to see of these models for the rest of the game now that we've clocked the entirety of the main story. The remainder of the story is apparently from the events, of which a day before the end of the game, there isn't one running, so we're completely out of luck. It lacks content, but then again, you are probably here for the rhythm gameplay, which requires characters. And you guessed it, it's gacha time. SIF2's last days are in fact surprisingly generous. Bushiroad gave some nice login bonuses of piles and piles of free gems and special banner roll tickets for the last month of service. And you might not know this, but being someone who played another ill-fated global release for another Bushiroad game that ended in the same way, they definitely know how to treat their players when their game is shutting down, by showering them with a shit ton of gems. I then obtained about 5 free tickets to summon a bunch of SSRs from the login bonus, known as Ultra Rare or UR units in this game, unlike most other games. From these 4 Pharaoh banners containing the characters from each idol group with an overall 5% SSR rate, the other banners had up to even 50%, and regardless, it was still pretty great for anyone who wanted to hop in to experience the game once in a lifetime before it disappeared forever. Also, when you swap banners, you get immediately flashbanged by the banner character, and I had to manually edit them all out so as to not cause someone a seizure. You're very welcome. Characters in this game had one of 3 main attributes: smile, pure, or cool. They all had HP values to determine how many mistakes you can make before you lose, and numbers for all 3 stats. So in this case of someone like Nico, she has a higher pure attribute and also have unique skills that you can level up to provide certain boosts during the gameplay. The skills are for the center character, who are essentially the leader of your 9 idol team, and once you hit level 80 on a character, you can then idolize them using light sticks you obtain from duplicate characters or the item gacha, which for some UR units will then unlock full live 2D portraits of them in idol costume and give them a stat boost, raise their level cap to 100 and give them way more HP, which of course brings me to the gameplay. Not knowing what I was walking into with this game, I set it up on emulator, and you don't know how much I regret doing that. First off, there's 9 buttons, 1 for each of the girls on your team, 1 mouse pointer, and I did not have a touchscreen, so the only thing I could do was map all the keys onto my keyboard and hope for the best that my gamer controller memory would somehow carry me through this one. And then I forgot that I was one of those kids who was given piano lessons at 5 years old, only for my parents to give up trying when they find out I suck. And of course, I got absolutely f***ing wrecked. Okay, never mind, I tossed my account onto my tablet over here, hence the messed up aspect ratio. L+ ratio to my terrible piano skills, but at least I can now finish the normal songs without any trouble. Mostly. Which is due to my musical skill issue. Regardless, gameplay is still quite fun. It really just boils down to being a simple run-of-the-mill rhythm game, like one of those you'd play on an old-fashioned arcade. I thought I was going to be disappointed by the lack of live 2D or full 3D video playing in the background like with its predecessor All-Stars, but I'm gonna be honest with you, it's gonna be extremely distracting to have someone dancing in the background. And with a grand total of 622 songs to choose from, SIF2 definitely spoiled me for choice. Fortunately, the message function didn't end up completely useless in the end, as the girls you bring on your live shows will soon begin to message you to introduce themselves as well, which is definitely a nice touch. The new player missions gave tons of gems and was overall great for new players to play at their own pace. And I can't call myself the Nico it's Nico without leveling Nico to level 80 and idolizing her into her final form before I say a final goodbye to this game. And I do have to say, I can definitely see the appeal of this game. It's cute girls doing cute things when there's story, all while playing the rhythm games to your favorite songs from the franchise. And by some point it sort of made me regret not picking Yohane cause her songs are definitely fire. But I made my choice when I decided to go with Nico for them. Memes jack the DNA of the soul. For me, who simply hopped in to make this video for the memes only to find myself somewhat liking this game, it really made me sad to see this game go so soon. It'd just be a disservice to rate the game based on a couple of days of gameplay right before the end of service, so I'll refrain from giving this game a verdict. Instead, I have to hand it to Bushiroad for giving the players plenty of gems and tickets to roll for all their favorite characters up to the end of service. Even if the offline mode to view your characters collected has zero means of backing up your data, which essentially means if your device dies, you're pretty much fucked. And speaking of the offline mode, this is it in all of its glory. You get to admire your idolized girls you collected, and that's really about it. I'm not sure what you expected. Definitely think they should have just made the entire game offline and fully free to play instead of a collection that you lose the moment your device decides to visit the pearly gates like the game did. If it doesn't entice people with new gacha characters over a long period of time, it's not as financially viable to keep it in the store. Still, I'm just happy to have this memory preserved in some shape or form, whether it's an offline app or even this video. And being someone who played a bit of the first game in the past, the end of School Idol Festival 2 feels like I'm witnessing the end of an era of this series that's been around for such a long time, unless they can make a comeback somehow. Gacha games eventually boil down to sales numbers as they all claw their way to the top, a survival of the fittest as you will, all bringing stories to make them unique from one another to entertain for a certain period of time before the next big game shows up. Still, no matter how short-lived the game might have been, the silver lining of all this is that the Love Live fans waiting for a global release were at least able to play the game in the end, despite everything. The store being open despite this game only being open for 4 months is ultimately a cash grab only if you bought the gems, which likely does go into supporting the franchise on the small off chance it would convince them to create a new IP down the line. But even so, seeing that the Japanese release closed down within a year, you can infer that it wasn't making enough profit to keep up with its maintenance, the aforementioned gacha race, or was ultimately outdone by all the tougher music gacha competition. Which all really isn't helped by the fact that School Idol Festival 2 was really not much of an upgrade from SIF1 or All Stars. As inevitable as it is for any franchise to lose popularity, the important thing for the players of this game was that you had fun while it lasted. And to Love Live as a franchise, I'd say Godspeed, and we shall see you in the next concert. And so, stay safe, stay humble, and this is the Annie Night, and we will see you next time.